Welcome back to the Red Couch Chronicles. It's your host Mo, and to my right is
Whitney, and to her left is
A.Marie. What's good?
and we're bike in this hoe. So we had the double bike for real though. We had the double bike, and we're gonna hit y'all, and hit ourselves with coded language part 2. Coded language part 2. I don't know if y'all feeling it. Y'all really don't be. I think that we've I don't know. This is random. This is not on my notes. But I think that our audience, I don't know, they be sick of us, I believe. They love us, but they be sick of us because we move on our own time. The ones who understand that, but like, y'all, we be wanting to know. Cause y'all, some of y'all do be listening consistently, but like, say something.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of have to re-energize them.
We do. And we have been trying to. I mean, I personally, as the, leader in this house, I feel like we have been trying new things, content-wise especially. Maybe not blowing up your timeline every day. But you do have some more things that you can view. Speaking of, our full-length season 6 promos on YouTube. Check that out. Like it, subscribe, share. I don't know with all the language,
Do it all.
Do all that. Do all that.
All this shit.
But run us up, man. Like, we don't say it often, but we do be wanting to know, like, what y'all feeling? What y'all thinking? Are these topics giving you something? Because that's another reason why we do it. Yeah, this is therapy for us. We enjoy speaking to y'all, for sure. But is it giving what it's supposed to give?
Yeah, because if it's not hitting the people,
Yeah,
it ain't no point.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to talk, and I like to talk to y'all. But we can do that here without all of this.
And also, if y'all paid attention, just as an ideation, specialist in this hoe, we have tried different models, like our Black Couch TV model, and just even like some of the episodes that weren't on video for Black Couch TV, where we just tried many topics and done just different formats of show. And I mean, I don't know, number-wise, I don't know if how those perform versus our normal shows, but even look back at those and see, do y'all like that format better? Do y'all like us really on some entertainment, shoot the shit type shit? Because now we at a point where we can slick get y'all what y'all want. If y'all pump this, we can give you what you feel me? Like, we at that point, like, we could do a 2 a week and hit y'all with a Black Couch TV and a regular podcast episode, because we understand that we do be giving y'all information. I don't know where this came from. I'm sorry. It's slick a rant, but we do be giving y'all information sometimes and having y'all slick decode our weird meanings of things and all of this. And if you enjoy that, great. But if you don't, it can be overwhelming, especially if you just used to listening to entertaining podcasts.
Right.
So just know, from the creator's standpoint, of the people who's creating this, we're always thinking about that. And that's why things shift and change in this so much, because we do want it to be a product that
You can enjoy.
Yeah,
Right.
that you can use, that you can get. We say it every time. It's a ritual that we say it every time. We end it with something for your mind, for your heart, for your spirit. You hear me? Okay.
Yeah, in summary, your feedback would be most well received.
You have the power to shape the show. Just slightly. Like,
No, you really do.
You really do.
You really do.
Like, we're listening. If you talk to us, we are listening.
Period.
And we will try our best
Yes.
to bring that to life.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all got to get past my antics. Anyway. Coded language. So when we spoke about coded language on, I guess that's now coded language part 1, we didn't look up the actual definition. We just kind of told our own definition.
Yeah.
So we're going to start this one off with a definition that we found that's a scholarly definition.
Yeah, I think our last show ended up being holler about code switching
A lot about code switching.
instead of coded language.
Yes, definitely.
But that's what we were thinking.
And
at the time.
I mean, we wrote our own.
Yeah.
We
That's what
did
I'm saying.
a
It was
whole
about codes.
Yeah.
in general. But now we're gonna get to the real language part of that. So coded language, it's defined as coded messages that have words or symbols that represent other words. So the message is secret unless you know the system behind the code. So we are about to dive deeper into language and words, and then we're gonna hit a few more thoughts in the general category of codes that we missed or forgot or got sparked on this week.
When I think about coded language, like I think about how certain things can be just said talking to each other, and like if you don't know, like if you know, you know, but if you don't know, it's going straight over your head.
Yeah.
Like I think different groups, like I feel like people in crypto, like when they talk to each other, that sounds like a different language to other people, even though they're using the same words that me and you use. Like I think about sometimes in the streets, especially on phone calls and different things like that.
Yes.
Plain language is used. However, if you know the meanings of that, it just takes a different life with you. I think about when, like, how different message can signal different things to different people. We have inside jokes.
We do.
And I feel like sometimes things come off on the podcast like, I don't know what they was talking about.
Exactly.
Why they are so tickled.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, if you are one of those people who knows what those loaded words are, you know how to use them. I think there are a lot of words that are used that, okay, the definition is one thing, but what that means when I hear people say that is something completely different. I think a good example of that might be like, one, like when you throw the word like feminism around or things like that. Like it all, like for some people that has a lot different connotation than what the actual word means.
Right, exactly.
And I think there's a lot of examples like that.
And it makes you not associate with the original definition of the word, or it makes people unaware of, sometimes we adopt those
instead of the real meaning.
Yeah, because it's all who you taught. If you were taught by your family or parent or even your friend group or whatever that this means this, you're gonna interpret it as that, and you may never know that the true definition is XYZ, which is why it's important to be able to decode language.
I think another example like that's been going that just came out was Kanye talking about rappers, like how he feel like when they're saying rapper, they're really just saying nigga. So I think that's another example. I think we talked about how sometimes professionalism can be seen as that because you're
like in corporate, I've heard the word outspoken used, and it was a dig. It was like, oh, they kind of start problems. And it's like outspoken doesn't have a negative meening. There's nothing wrong with that.
In corporate, when we see all the time and how like we trip about how you like tell somebody off like in an email, but not without without saying fuck you hoe, but like per my last email, and in your head you like bitch, like, like stop playing with me,
Right. I've already completed. And just random, but speaking on that, like we spoke about code switching last week and language and all these things, and it's crazy because I was talking about how last week I did the little voice, and sometimes we call that code switching, which it is, but Tariq Nasheed said some shit like, we need to clear that up. Like there's sometimes when we speaking, like it's not considered code switching if I speak with clear English language and intelligence. Like it's not a code switch all the time if I am just speaking intelligently. Like, I want that to be understood. That's not a code switch. If I'm just speaking intelligently to another human being with intellect and knowledge, then that's just what that is. Now, if I make it a point to use language that I know, like, okay, just like we got coded language in the Black community, there's coded language in other communities as well. So it's funny because I think about, like, this is a far off example, but my grandmother has ordered food from like a Chinese spot, and she'll like
try to sound like
I don't know if it's just like a
I think it's a like coming to an environment and trying to make sure that you're understood.
Right.
And I don't think it can come off. Because, like, I think about how sometimes when white people come into Black environments and they put on what is usually considered a Black scent.
Right. And that is a code switch. Like, if I put on a white scent, I'm just like, yeah, dude, like, yeah, major waves out here today. Like, I mean, if I'm finna do something, because, I mean, I don't know too many surfer Black men who talk like that. That's a white archetype, stereotype that I've seen be portrayed in movies and shit. So it's just as racist to me doing that bullshit if that's not who I am. Some people do develop into
born in certain environments.
And become, So, I mean, I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying that is not a switch. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I think a good point to reach said to that point was like, when you like altering your language, like just being outside of yourself, not when like, yeah, you not getting paid for it. This is not something you obligated to do. Like, you just doing that shit just to do that shit to fit in. Like, you're code, like that's when you code switching. Like she said, like trying to like clean up my language to be in a professional setting is not code switching. That's just me using my sense and knowledge, which is what should have got me this position in the first place. And
it's unfortunate they don't see the genius in that. They don't see the genius in me going from my nigga, we do this shit out here, my nigga, what's up with it, you feel me, what's up with it, nigga, to developmental psychology is very, very key in the growth and development of children. Like, I can go, I mean, that's like, you don't understand what it took for me to become that though. Like, that's work on me. That wasn't me looking at somebody else making a model of that. That was me saying, I need to be versatile.
Yes, and I think the motives behind it matter probably the most. Because
exactly.
Like, am I doing this like to be understood by the person I'm talking to?
Right.
Or am I doing this because I'm trying to get some kind of acceptance or fill some kind of void?
Or a level up in something, or you feel me, when, you know, your integrity gonna take you much further than a handout. Anyway, back to what's on
the docket.
The outline.
Back to the docket.
So in addition to words, phrases, and the things people do that mean different things, I also feel that that's how God be speaking too. I think God speaks in codes. If you're aware of it, and I feel like those codes can be represented by symbols, expressions of energy, nature, hell, damn near anything, and that can be decoded. So it's like, if I know, and this is just personal, and we can go into some examples, but if I know that something so complex has the ability to be broken down by how it's expressed to me, I don't know if y'all heard what I said, and I can't say it again. That's God to me. But we can go into some examples.
Well, I think a good example was yesterday. So I just recently got a sound bowl. I introduced it to my nephew and my brother. I mean, my brother is into that, so that was like, he was just hyped to see it. But my nephew, like, he's 9. He doesn't know shit about that. Like, so he was playing and he just was so like intrigued and then he started like meditating. It was kind of the funniest, but it did touch me a little bit. It was funny because if you know him, you know he's the wild one. So he like calls himself meditating and like makes us join hands and says a little prayer, like all. But he was like, but even before that, he was like, after he was like, God spoke to me.
That's exactly what he said.
I just spoke to God. And he was like, I'm serious. And I'm like, I believe you, baby. Like, he probably did. I said, what did he say to you? He was like, he said, I'm a good person. It's really not funny, but it is because he's a child. But like, I believe that God spoke to him in that moment. Like, I do believe that.
I do too.
And luckily, he was in the space to
express
it and decode it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there was somebody right there that could decode that message, whether his message was the accurate one or not. Hey, there was a message right there. And his auntie was able to get that. And that's what we got to be for
the children.
Yeah.
Well, too, as a person who doesn't believe necessarily in coincidences, like I believe anything that happens for a reason. I do feel like there are messages everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think about probably one of the just kind of emotional, probably the most emotional up and down days recently that I've had was my last day at work. And so I get off of work, I go to Waffle House immediately after. Walk in there, sit down, and my song starts playing. My song was playing. Why was they playing Never Would Have Made It in
See, I know what that is. Yeah, that's her jam,
y'all.
That's her jam. I see you, big God. Period.
Like, you gotta know me to know.
That's her jam, y'all. That's her shit, bro. Before they made the remix, before Tiana Taylor, like, that was her jam.
It's the Marvin.
Period.
It's the Marvin for me.
Oh my God, you did not tell us that. That's crazy.
But that's because that whole day was an up and down. Things were happening. Like, I was getting messages everywhere. But that one got me because it was the very first song. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know if I've ever really heard gospel playing in
Waffle House.
And so to walk into that Waffle House, to sit down and start trying to, just get my head together. And that's the first thing. I just looked, I said, I feel like they're playing with me today.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're not.
You're not. He playing with me. You're not actually.
But like, knowing that for me, nothing is coincidence.
Yeah, for sure.
And so things like that happen. I take those things as God speaking to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think like people conflate like they may think that you believe in these outside things to be God instead of an expression of God. Like, for instance, like if I believe God made everything, my example would be, okay, astrology and the solar system. I'm not saying that's my religion. I'm worshiping Sagittarius, goddamn it, a Scorpio, a Aries, a Virgo. No. I'm looking at the code as being written as a message. And I can decode that and decide what I want to do with it. That's free will. That's what God gives us to, you feel me? Do what thou will. And whatever that. But understand that it's about the expression of it and what can be decoded through it. Because even on a surface level, getting to numbers, I'm not worshiping no numbers, but I know that messages can be decoded that can't come from. And understand this, like, man is sophisticated. Man is intelligent, but not like the source. Not like the source. So these messages I'm getting, I cannot believe a man thought that on,
I can't give him that credit.
Yeah, like on on the 3rd of the month or the 12th of the month or the 15th of the month, any number that's in alignment with me, if I do something on that day, usually it happens. It aligns how it's supposed to. How do I know that? Just by the numbers. And then the messages came through as I did the work to see if this is accurate. If it ain't, I move on to the next thing. It ain't nothing. But I have won the lottery by going to get a ticket on that day. That's okay. It's the 3rd of the month. I'm gonna go get me a ticket. I'm gonna pick the ticket that's a 3, and this shit can sound crazy, I don't care. But I'm just saying, that's how me and God communicate. And guess what? Every time I'm blessed, it may be a free ticket, it may be $3, it may just be $1, but I'm reminded like, oh, you were speaking to me through these number codes, and I'm able to receive whatever from it. Like,
well, my foundations in Christianity, I feel like taught me that God might burn a bush. Right. If he'll send a message that way, what other ways will he send a message?
Exactly.
Through Eddie and everything.
Exactly.
And I think, well, go ahead. I was just saying, going back to even what you said about there is no coincidence. Like, that's why there's no coincidences, because, you know, like we say, on like our slick mantra of this show is everything is everything. So if that is true, then he can send me a message through cardology. He can send me a message through astrology. He can send me a message through numerology. He can send me a message by the way the breeze hit me. You know,
period.
It can be anything.
He might send a messenger that don't look like they should be the messenger.
Come on. Okay. Send it through strangers. That's what I wrote down on my thing, man. He'll send it through a stranger. Through interactions with people that you don't even know. You know, and numbers, like people say that all the time about angel numbers, and you know how you see them, and like we said, if you don't know that that's an angel number, you won't think nothing about it being 1111 or nothing about it being 333, which is cool. But also, don't take that shit at the surface meaning, because some little thing on Instagram said that 1111 means this. What's going on in your life right there in that minute? If you know what the numbers represent, then it may mean something different for you in your life right there at that time. Just because you scroll by Instagram and they said that, that's how this algorithm shit is set up. So you got to go outside and do your investigation on your own about some of these things. They are so simple, but they're yet complex.
Well, too, I think you receive signs the way that you like. The way that is gonna be seen to you.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If my belief is like I'm looking for a sign and these are the ways that I'm receptive or these are the things that I'm keyed into, that's going to be the way I receive that because that's the way I believe and that's the way that my eyes are open to see it.
Right. And I think also you can also limit your way by that because, you know, everything takes elevation. So at some point you're going to have to open yourself up to receive, like, the farther you trying to go. I mean, it depends on where you're trying to go. So, like, we motherfuckers that's trying to go, we're trying to go. So we've had to open ourselves up to receive messages in all different forms. So it could be a message like when you're talking about interaction with strangers, we've had multiple of those. When my tire got flat on the way to work and my daddy came to help me, but all we had was a little jack that came in my car and this man came out of nowhere. I didn't know where I didn't see him coming. He was parked I'm a aloof for things, but he came out of nowhere with a fucking black in his mouth, some house shoes on, like this was a nigga, man. Came out of nowhere at the gas station with a bigger jack to help us get that tire off, and like it just little shit like that. Like
same happened to me and Whitney. We on the way to Chat. We just get in Chattanooga
in a horrible location.
Terrible
right
location.
Off of the exit. Traffic was a curve.
Traffic was sick. 3 lanes packed. We get a flat. A man literally came out of nowhere. A black man with damn power. The damn power. What he had?
He had a full He had a drill.
A power tool set.
He was like the people on NASCAR that run out and
like tire chains in less than 5 minutes.
Not
like, even that, honestly.
And he was out of there, y'all.
And didn't see him pull up.
Didn't see nothing.
Like, he was on us. He was out of the car standing beside me before we even, with the tools in his head. Wouldn't take anything.
Nothing.
No.
Or that day, what's the name, couldn't get in her car out here in front of the house, and then somebody come out of nowhere to help y'all get in the car.
Yeah, he did come out of nowhere, and it was a randomest man.
I feel like I get a lot of confirmation and messages from strangers.
Yeah. Me too. And if you a scary person or you a can't read energy person, because I think it's important what you were saying too about, I think it's both, because everything is everything, so it be true at the same time. Yes, it's special to know how your modality is, to know how your messages may come. Yes, if you're trying to go further, it's important to open yourself up. But if you immature and you ain't done no inner work on yourself, and you ain't took care of no trauma and all of that, all of these messages can be very convoluted and within your ego, or you know, you may
make a message.
You feel me? And you may assume that it's God, because see, it takes so much to like believe a stranger. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just trusting nobody, but it takes so much to let your guard. I'm talking about, you know, we got to be guarded because it's crazy motherfuckers in the world, but to take my guard down enough to have the intuition to know I'm safe with this person, or that this is supposed to be like this, like, it takes a lot. So if you're immature, you ain't dealt with your trauma, you can't use your intuition properly, it is important that you first recognize your own modality so that you can see the messages in the way you need to.
Yes, because I think there were a lot of messages that came to me that I didn't realize were messages until after the fact because of my immaturity.
Okay,
one, don't let me feel like somebody ain't living what they talking about.
Yeah.
Especially younger me.
Yeah.
Younger me's not hearing that. Because you're not living that, and so I'm not taking that in. But you didn't do that. Not realizing that they might be the perfect person to speak to me on this topic because they made these mistakes.
Exactly.
They're trying to make sure I'm not them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But two, like, I think about just closed off in that way. I was probably closed off in a lot of other different ways. So there are probably a lot of other messages that I missed, and signs that I was coming in everyday interaction with, just the things around me, that because I wasn't open enough or mature enough to see them for what they were, disregarded them. Because I think just because you don't recognize a message doesn't mean that they're not happening.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
True.
Totally agree. Agree. And I'm not even trying to get in the spook bag, but because this just happened, something is on me, y'all know what's happening. Astro World. Let's take a second for the people who lost their lives. Not sure. Say what you want, but God speaks through ritual too. And something was going on there that day. I believe it with my whole soul. It wasn't right. I ain't gonna put my finger on what wasn't right and what was good and what something wasn't right.
Or whose fault or who.
None of that. I ain't at the liberty to say that ain't in my pay grade. But what I will say is something wasn't right, and we have got to keep our eyes open. We have got to.
But I think even with that, everything that's been going on in the world is a message.
Yes.
We have to be keen to that. So a lot of times when we talk about immaturity, we also need to talk about strength and cognitive dissonance and critical thinking skills and emotional maturity as well, because a lot of times you'll get, I don't know if you're missing the message or you getting caught up or whatever, you let fear and shit make you do things outside of what this message is saying because you done got scared or you done got caught up, whatever the case may be. Like, there's, like she said, messages are coming at all times. Every day is a message. Every day is a message. So we get caught up in so many different things and distractions, and we missing so much. So much is passing us by, which is why we look up and then we be like, how did we get here? Like, how did this happen? I want that old thing back, like, I'm just saying. You look up, you don't know where you at.
What you said, but Yeah, man. It's things going on and things happening in this world that are unbelievable. Not unbelievable because ain't nothing unbelievable now. Shit. Really? But I think that we got to use our intuition. We got to use the resources we have. Like we just said, God speaks through different things. So there were several people who could have guided Travis if he wanted it, or if he knew, or if he gave a fuck. And I'm not saying he don't, y'all, but I'm saying like, even if you do, you know, when you get to a certain status, it's your due diligence to do everything in your power, to know everything about what you're doing. So if you don't know, or you did know, or whatever, hell, we got our own responsibility as people who are consumers of this shit and who are paying money for this shit and getting so caught in the hype of this shit. We got our own responsibility, y'all.
I think we have a responsibility as people and consumers and everything to not take shit at face value, especially at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we can't take nothing at face value. We need to examine the intention, the motive, the source, everything at all times. And if it checks out, great. Let's keep it pushing.
Right.
But we letting shit check out that we ain't even checked into.
Ooh. Can you say that one? We letting shit check out.
We letting shit check out
that we ain't even checked into. I don't think we need to say nothing else. Okay. More on going against code and some shit that is universally unacceptable. Let's go. First of all, scamming your people, man.
Wow.
Scamming your people, man. Come on, like, I know capitalism is a hell of a disease, a hell of a drug, hell of a whatever, but we can't do this shit in the future. Cause what's happening too on some God shit is karma, whatever you want to call it, or whatever your practice may be. That shit coming back around quicker. I was literally strangers. Me and Amber were just talking to 3 strangers. That's 3 different demographics. I can't talk. One of them was a tall white male. One of them was an older black man, but man still got a little young in him.
It was probably mid-age.
Yeah,
40s,
and then
50s.
And then it was
It's probably a same age woman.
Black woman. Don't you know each one of them said, the white man, the man, and the that stuff is speeding up and karma is coming back quicker. They said that to us. We having this conversation with these people we don't know. I'm tapping on the book. We having this conversation with people we don't know, that things are coming back around quicker. So if you scamming your people, man, you know, like I told you, you're gonna pay, but it's coming quicker now. So you should be that. If you're gonna be afraid of something, be afraid of how quick that shit gonna come back and smack your ass.
Really though. You just scolded everybody.
I did, my bad. I'm bad.
But they needed it.
Duh.
Because I think there's a lot of people that think that they can prosper because I think instant gratification is a killer. Shit feel good when it feel good.
Yeah.
But you always pay.
Yeah, like we said before, you don't know how these people paying for what they doing. You don't know. Just because all you see is the gratification part, you thinking it's up and it's stuck. It's coming back down.
Yeah, period.
I think people read the signs that they want to read in things. Because, like, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing and I feel like I'm reaping the benefits of that, and all I'm looking for is the good, especially like if I'm doing something like scamming or something and I'm getting the result that I want, I take that as a sign that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's working.
Not realizing that that's temporary.
Yeah.
Like some signs you manufacture yourself.
Yep.
To give you a little peace of mind.
What you said?
Hey, I want to feed my delusion a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me take this. Like, okay.
Oh my God.
Open up.
You feed your delusion as if it's not not gonna grow.
But that always.
You hear me?
Do
Do you know how many days I spent starving my delusion?
Got to.
Do you know?
Got to.
And I just hang on to just a few pieces of my delusion sometimes, but I spend
But that goes back to what
days.
that goes exactly back to what you said about maturity, about having the emotional intelligence, about being spiritually open, having your ego in check, because that's exactly us brewing a storm for
because
you to feed your
the more
delusion.
you feed it to, the harder it falls.
Okay, and then because that motherfucker get heavy and get obese. But understand what I'm saying though. Y'all got obese shit on you. Like, come on. You wonder why you can't lose weight? Yeah. Woo! I'm done. I got to stop. It's coming through me. It's coming through me. It's coming through me. Okay, but what I was trying to say is, y'all know when people say, come on, Missy, it's trying to still do it.
Come here. Okay.
Y'all know, both of them just said, y'all rewind it back. But that's the stuff, when they say do the work, that's the stuff that's the stuff they're speaking of. When they say do the work, because they make it sound so general and plain when they say do the work. You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. Ain't nobody telling you the work that you really got to fucking do.
People, it seems when you saying like do the work, it's just like be a good person. But it's like it's not enough. That's not enough. No. It's just not enough.
And the work I gotta do is not the work you gotta do. The work I gotta do not the work you gotta do. The work you gotta do not the work she gotta do. We may have to do some work together, but the work is everybody's work is different. Yeah. So if we not giving real deal like because I do feel like Kanye says shit about it only being a few different archetypes and this and that, and I kind of do believe that there are only people are unique, but there are like you could probably group together modalities and love languages and this and that, and that's where we come together and can offer ways to do work based on if that frequency resonates with you. But that is what is meant. Starving the delusion. The stuff you just said, like that's the work. I think that the work, if you don't know what to do, you can start there.
The work is, I think, as plainly to put is looking into why you do the shit you do. Like, why are you this way? What has happened in your life? What choices have you made? What things have happened? What has caused you to be this way? It's not it's not as simple as where I'm from, and I got that shit tatted on me. But that's just a piece of it. There were deeper things I had to look into, and crazy enough, they listened to me talk about the shit with my siblings. We was all having the same conversation. But that's a beautiful thing, because that's in a place where, okay, in this area, we do need to do this work together because this is a similar experience that we share. Like she said, there's points where we have to do work together because we're sharing a similar experience in this time. But there have been many times where we've had to do our own work that we couldn't intercede in. I'm gonna stop.
Hey, I don't know where this went, but I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end mine. Oh Lord! But don't fuck with the chosen. You cannot fuck with the chosen. That's another thing I just want to remind. I told y'all last week people gonna pay, but I also want to remind you that you really can't, y'all. It's a lot of chosen people, like, you know, they killed chosen people, and them chosen people still doing bigger work than they was doing when they was here. Quote me on that. So understand. You can't fuck with the chosen. That's another thing that's just universally unacceptable.
That is the universal unacceptable thing, like,
period.
Yeah, there are certain people, like, you know, I'm gonna pay for this quickly.
Or greatly. If it ain't quick, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Black folk, we gonna do a full deep dive on this. But y'all motherfuckers who call yourself elite, just because you got money and your character flawed and you don't do shit for the service of your people and you don't do shit for your heart and your own soul, you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
But I mean, they will pay.
And they serve a purpose. Because the shit serve a purpose, baby. Because somebody got to nurture the soul, bitch. Somebody do. Something got to die, right?
Yep.
Right?
There's got to be bad for the good.
Balance.
And I just keep finding shit on the paper.
But too, I think there's balance in these messages too.
It is.
Like, I feel like, especially in coded language, for as much good as there is, there's bad. Especially when it comes to talking to these signs.
Yeah.
Just because you see a sign does not necessarily mean that that's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I think that gets talked about a lot. Like the good side of that, especially.
Yeah.
But not all signs are for your good.
Yeah.
You need to be able to interpret and have the intuition within yourself to know what is what.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of that doing the work.
And it's as simple as, how many times have you, after in hindsight, you felt away before some shit went down that wasn't right? It was like, oh, if I really think about it, I felt a little such and such. I knew I didn't want to go. I knew it's like little shit like that. You
miss it because you're not in tune, and sometimes you just refuse to
believe
to go against whatever you've already set forth, which is your own delusion again. Like, I was supposed to be here today, but it don't matter. Like, it don't matter who you let down. It don't matter who gonna be mad. If it say I can't do it, I can't do it. Like, I have fucked myself up a many a times. I feel like the last wreck in my truck happened because I wasn't supposed to do something and I did it anyway. I had a wreck that day.
On the way to do it.
On the way to do it. And still went to do it on some dumb shit. Because I didn't want to not fulfill the promise that I gave to somebody. Because I didn't want to not... I needed a little change in my pocket. It was for some money. Like, instead of just hearing what God said to not move. You need to go today. I'm making you late for a reason, bitch.
Yeah.
You left your camera at home.
Yeah, that was
You left your camera at home. And you went up there and had a wreck. Y'all been understand what I'm saying? Anyway, we don't have to hit on anything else, I don't think, this evening. I think we have, I'm ready to smoke a cigarette. Like, the shit just...
It's a little hot in
Woo!
here.
It's red. It's a red. It's being back on the red couch, ain't it? It's the red couch.
We really said F the plan and the outline.
We did.
We went from coded language to back to read the sign, like the read the signs episode.
Yeah,
We doubled back on that. It's part 2 of that too.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
We had some stuff we needed to say today.
Clearly, everybody channel.
Take it as a message.
Everybody did. Everybody did tell something today. That's crazy. Y'all know how we like to end the show every time with everything is everything. A little lights for your heart, for your mind, for your spirit, for your walk, for your journey, for your evolution. This is everything is everything. I will begin this week. This morning I had a great cry. I did. Sometimes I just feel like you may have to just have a little cry now. Just have a little cry. And it ain't got to be about shit. It ain't got to be about nothing. But, my girlhood healer was just talking about being in the 8th house, being in Scorpio season, and it being about intimacy and learning your problems with intimacy. And I definitely got some intimacy issues. So, as I'm knocking on 30's door,
it's cracked at this point.
I've been doing
He ain't knocking on of it. It's cracked. It's peeking out at you. It's over there like that. It's over there like that.
Get off me. Get off me. Woo, not that I gave my own jokes to somebody else, bro. But yeah, I'm knocking on that. So, I'm working on like my emotional intelligence and intimacy and love and loving myself, and I don't know, man. I'm trying to let my guard down out here because I have a lot of people to nurture, and ain't too many people. The triggering word antics who gonna put up with y'all antics. Ain't too many people who gonna do that. So every now and then I have to cry, and you may have to too. So, and that's okay.
It is.
And it don't matter what triggered it, because the weirdest shit triggered mine this morning. But hey,
everything is everything to me this week. Is it's never too late to bounce back. So we can be missing a lot of signs. You can miss a lot of signs. You can get caught up in your delusion. You can fall, and fall hard as fuck. But you can still come back. And back to what you said about people are making a difference after death greater than they were in life. You can bounce back in that way too. So don't ever feel like you can't come back to grace. You can.
I sure.
My everything is everything this week is, I feel like, the message that I've been seeing a lot lately. Your messages are your messages, and your journey is your journey. One, it's so much stuff going on behind the veil. Like, there are so many things when you watch people and when you see others and you see their journey and you form all of these feelings and emotions. 9 times out of 10, it's like the tip of an iceberg. You don't know what those inner workings are. And it can be defeating to really look at other people's journeys and their progress and compare yourself, not realizing that your journey is for you. The messages and the signs and the route that you are taking, it is for you specifically, and it's not for anybody else. It may be to show them, which is why I think there needs to be a little bit of the veil ripped down. The work needs to be seen because a lot of people don't know how to do it. The journey needs to be seen because a lot of people don't know what steps to take. And so I feel like my message is to, if that's how I feel and that's what I want to see, I need to be that.
Yep.
And to what you said, let it be your inspiration. Not your model.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let other people's stuff be an inspiration, not the model. You create the model from scratch.
It has to be specific to you.
Yeah. But that's the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much.
About to go down a whole nother. It was on the tip.
Thank you so much for listening to us. We appreciate it, man. It was beautiful to get this shit off.
It was
today.
I have to get this off because it's tatted on me and we was talking about language. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Period. Okay?
Period.
Yes.
Period.
I know. I was so. Dang. Let me stop. Hold on. Let me just. So I was listening to Joe Rogan talk to Snoop Dogg this morning, and he was talking about that exact thing. Like one of the first. He was talking about one of the ideas that he had, and murder was the case that they gave me. And he was talking about how it wasn't even supposed to be about that, but that's what, once he got the right, and that's what it turned into. And I think he said it was like 6 months later that he caught his first murder charge. Yes. And he was like, at that point, he realized that he needed to write about life.
Right.
Because when his pen predicted his future. When he let it, so he wanted to control his narrative, so he had to change some of the ways and things that he chose to write about.
Ooh, so since we already in that mode, since we just on another level here today on the red couch, everything that we plotting on right now is about to come to fruition. Every single thing. The life, the abundance, the ability to serve, the ability to help, the ability to make money and show others how to do it, the ability to speak these messages over the microphone. Come on. It's coming right now. It's coming right now. Life, period. Over everything. Life, love, period. Life, love, light, period. Sorry. I just thought I needed to.
No.
Cause since we talking about that, let's say it. Cause this is the pen.
Period.
I'm on the pen.
Period.
What was you about to say?
None.
Oh, okay.
None.
Whoa, it's been an explosive episode. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Red Couch Chronicles. You can follow us on Instagram at
Red Couch Chronicles
and on Twitter at
Red Couch Vibes.
And you can find us on YouTubers at Red Couch Chronicles. And in the meantime, between time, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Yes.
And we sitting in the
Peace,
same.
love, and light.
And
Yeah.
we speaking light and life over your life as well.
Yes. I hope y'all feel it through the screen, through the microphone. We mean that shit.
Yes.
Big love, big light.
Love, big light, big blessings, big abundance to you too.
Yes. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will see you next week.